episode of Texas River Legends. In this episode, I'm going to be showing you one of the best multi-species all-around rigs that you could ever use. Works in freshwater, works in saltwater, lakes, rivers, ponds, bass, catfish, carp, gar, bluegill, every species of fish it works for. You just scale it up and down depending on what you're going to fish for, and this rig will catch fish. So, let's jump right into it. Now, you've probably fished the rig before. I'm going to be showing you how to rig up a sort of medium to lighter rig here. I fish this particular rig on like a medium action spinning rod, just for most things as a 10-pound leader, and you usually use 8 to 10-pound line. But you can scale down for ultralight and just scale down the size of the weight and everything and the line, or you can scale up to really heavy gear and just scale things up. Same rig, same basic stuff, it works. So you've probably fished this rig and you've probably heard of it, even if you haven't fished it. It's a very simple rig, and it's referred to as either a Carolina rig, a fish finder rig, or a slip sinker rig. And it is a super basic fishing rig that has basically 3 components, 4 if you count the leader. So this particular rig has 3 components. It's got a sinker, it's got a leader, it's got a hook, and it's got a swivel. This particular type of rig has 3 components. You have your sinker, you have your swivel, a leader down to your hook. It's really as basic as it can be, and that's this rig. So this rig is a very effective rig for just about any kind of fish for a couple of reasons. Number one, your weight's down here. Your leader keeps your bait away from the terminal tackle, which will keep the fish from being spooked by that. And that also allows the bait to float up and look a lot more natural in the water. But part of what makes this such an effective rig, and one of the main reasons, is the sinker is sliding freely on the line. So when this is sitting on the bottom, and this hook with your bait is floating up, and a fish takes it and starts to swim off, you'll see the bite in the line, but the fish won't feel any tension at all from the sinker, which allows you to hook a lot more fish and spook a lot less. So it's really a very basic rig, but it works really well. So I'm going to show you how to tie up one that's about this size. The components I'm using are for more of a medium size rig. I have, like I said, 8-pound test, 10-pound leader, and just a smaller to medium size fish finder rig or slip sinker rig, whatever you want to call it. But you can scale this up or down, like I said, depending on what you're fishing for, so bear that in mind. So obviously, the first thing you need when you're tying up this thing is your line. Like I said, I'm using an 8-pound test for this particular size rig. That's what I like to use. I'll go up to 10 sometimes, depending on cover and things. But choose what kind of line you're using based on fish size, structure, cover, that type of thing. And the second thing you need is a slip sinker. I just have here a 1/4 ounce egg sinker. It's made by Bullet Sinkers. Really cheap, really effective, and it just works. I use 1/4 ounce for this size, but I mean, for bigger catfish rigs, I'll go up to like 40-pound line and a 3 or 4 ounce no-roll sinker. So you can scale it up or down, but for this particular rig, I'm going with a 1/4 ounce egg sinker. From there, your next component is your swivel. Now, all a swivel's job is to do is just to swivel, literally. It is designed to keep twist out of your line, and in this particular case, act as a stop and a way to connect your leader. So I have a fairly small swivel here. This is a size 7, I believe, swivel. Pretty strong. Like I said, you wouldn't want to use this small for big fish, but it works just fine for panfish, smaller catfish, and the things I'm going to be fishing this particular size of rig for. I have a size 7 here. I feel that a size 7 swivel seems to match well with 8-pound test and a 1/4 ounce sinker. So that's what I have here. If you don't know how to tell the size of a swivel, it actually tells you on the package, as you can see right there, size 7. These are just Eagle Claw barrel swivels. They're cheap and they work just fine. And I've never had one fail. A lot of people want to buy expensive swivels. I've never had this cheap one fail, and I've caught pretty big catfish on this type of rig. So once you're done with your swivel, you need a hook. Now this hook, this is a size 6 Aberdeen. This is what I like to use for this size. I'll also use maybe a really small circle hook if I can find them, but definitely a size 6 long shank Aberdeen hook is a perfect hook for this rig, just because it's really hard for the fish to swallow. It gets good hook sets, and it's small enough that panfish and stuff will eat it, but it's also big enough you can put some worms on, go for bass or catfish and things. It's also light wire. I like to use a light wire hook typically whenever I'm fishing a lighter setup near the bottom, just because I don't want to break my line. If I get snagged, I lose everything. I'd rather bend the hook out and just tie a new hook on than to have to lose everything. So when you're fishing lighter line on a bottom rig, like this size of rig, go with a lighter wire hook, and it'll save you a lot of terminal tackle. And from there, you need something to connect your hook to your swivel, and I've got some line. I just use 10-pound test for my leader in this one. I like the leader to be, depending on cover, typically a little bit heavier than my main line. If I'm not using a light wire hook, I like to have a lighter leader than my main line, so I might reverse it and use 10-pound main line or 8-pound leader, so that if I get snagged once again, I can break the leader and not the line and save my sinker and swivel. So this is just 10-pound P-line Fluoroclear. It's just a copolymer fluorocarbon coated line. It's good strong line. It works well. So that's what I use to tie up my leaders. From there, tying up the rig it's very, very, very simple. All you really have to do is you take your sinker, you slide it on your main line, you tie that to the swivel with whatever knot you want to use. I use a Palomar. Now you have your sinker on your line and your swivel connected, so the sinker won't slide off. And then you just simply tie your leader. So you tie a leader. I like to tie a Palomar knot to the hook. If you don't know how to do that, actually I used a clinch knot on this one. So whatever knot you want to use, I use a Palomar or a clinch to the hook. And then I simply leave about a foot and a half of line. I tie a figure 8 loop knot, which is one of my favorite loop knots. Really easy to tie. But any loop knot you want, there's 2 ways to attach this to your swivel. Now the first one is to just tie a loop knot, and then to simply pass the loop through the swivel and then the hook back through the loop, and it'll attach it there just with a loop-to-loop connection to the swivel. Really simple and easy to do. But then the second way is to simply tie the leader to the swivel. That works just as well. And either one, and that's really all there is to do, all there is to this rig. A lot of people put a bead in between the sinker and the swivel. It's probably a good idea if you're fishing for bigger fish and lighter line, anything that fights hard, because this sinker smashing into your knot will weaken it. So you probably want to go with maybe a small bead or a sinker bunker. But that's really basic as this rig can be. Even if you add a bead, you've got your line, sinker, bead, swivel, leader, hook. It's as basic as it gets. And on this rig, you can put any kind of bait you want. You can put cheese, chicken liver, Slim Jim hot dog, worms, artificial baits. I was catching lots of stock trout over at one of the spots in the Guadalupe with this exact rig right here, with a little power bait trout worm. It's just a little soft plastic, bright orange. Anything will work on this rig. People use an upsized rig with a Texas rig hook or an offset worm hook to fish soft plastics for bass, and then really any bait you want to put on here will work. Obviously, if you tie a rig up about this size, like I just showed you how with the components I showed, and you throw it out with real worms on there, it will literally catch every kind of fish under the sun in any freshwater location anywhere. So from there, you can scale it up and down wherever you want, however you want. And it's a really simple and easy rig to tie, and it works really well. So that is the Fish Finder rig, Carolina rig, Slip Singer rig, whatever you want to call it. Great rig. Go try it out. It is one of my all-time favorite rigs, and it just plain catches fish. So thanks for watching. Get out there and catch some more fish.